So, thank you everyone for joining us today for the third online GEPIC seminar of the winter season. To start, I would like to offer a quick summary of the GEPIC project, which sets the context for our seminars series. The Gender Empowerment Through Politics in the Classroom, GEPIC, is a 3-year program sponsored by the European Commission and implemented in 6 European countries: Belgium, the Czech Republic, Denmark, Germany, Spain, and the UK. And the purpose of the GEPIC is to explore effective teaching strategies in secondary schools that encourage second-year students' confidence in voicing their opinions and participating in civic activities. And this initiative particularly focuses on empowering young girls at the beginning of their secondary education, helping them to strengthen their confidence in their own voices and viewpoints. And now I'm pleased to introduce our guest speaker. Dr. Dorien Sampermans is a researcher and educator with a focus on citizenship education. She holds a PhD in this field and has a background in educational policy. Currently, she is responsible for the social science teacher education program at KU Leuven. Her research interest includes citizenship education and inequality. And today she will talk about her work, teacher concepts of good citizenship, and associations with their teaching styles. Thank you, Doreen. I'm really sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name or the institution. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Natalia, for the introduction. So indeed, I work at the University of Leuven, and I finished there my PhD almost 7 years ago, and this article was part of this PhD, but still today it's quite relevant in my teaching activities. I'm involved in the didactics course, citizenship course, together with Professor Ellen Klaas. And then I'm also responsible for the service learning course in which inequality is also a topic and how to deal with this as a teacher, and service learning is often seen as an important teaching strategy when teaching citizenship education. Yeah, I'll go through the presentation. It worked before, but not now. Sorry. Yes. To start with the beginning, we start with teacher concepts of good citizenship, then a small part of political socialization. I also discuss how to measure citizenship beliefs, the importance of schools. So schools play an important role, and also teachers. And then we connect the importance of teachers, the role they can play, and how this can affect teaching citizenship education, and the concepts of good citizenship of students. The article is written with Flemish data, so I'll explain that a little bit, and then discuss the results and connect to the questions for discussions and future research. To start with the beginning, concepts of good citizenship. You see here a picture of a child and a young person who described here what kind of beliefs are, according to this young person, important being a good citizen. These are individual beliefs. This person thought it was important to follow the rules, for example, to be responsible, be respectful for other people. These are individual beliefs, and to come to these beliefs, on the other hand, there is a lot of background in close relation to the students, and that's the socialization process influencing these beliefs. So important in socialization can be the school, the family, but also institutions close to the young person, or youth organizations, other students that can have an influence. But even then, the parents, the schools, they are all embedded in the bigger society, where you have influences like socioeconomics, religious background, the impact of social media, also quite important for young people today. So the socialization is really important, and makes it sometimes also quite difficult to examine citizenship content, concepts, citizenship beliefs of young people, and then to examine citizenship beliefs. There's lots of research we can rely on, former research, and this is a scale that is often used, also used in ICCS research, where participants are asked how important they think specific beliefs are for being a good adult citizen. And then you have different items, a little bit comparable to the picture that was drawn by the young person in one of the earlier slides. But then here we have a fixed setting of items, and then persons can indicate how important these items are. These are items like voting in every national election, working hard, following political issues in the newspaper, taking part in activities to protect the environment, participating in activities, taking part in activities promoting human rights, engaging political discussions, participating in peaceful protests, and joining a political party. So a big scale, a range of items, and then they can indicate in a scale how important these are. And then these beliefs, they can be clustered, and then you come up to citizenship norms in research, also often discussed, and methods then often used as factor analysis to examine how these clusters of beliefs can be found in a population with more persons. So then you can define kind of citizens, and that's in earlier research. There are plenty of kinds of citizenship norms described, and the two that are always in the descriptions are duty-based citizens, that are the ones obeying the law, voting, and doing activities more for maintenance of the democratic social order. Then the engaged citizens, they are more focused on the social needs, the postmodern values like human rights, environmental concerns. So these are two types of citizenship norms that come back very often in this kind of research. The monitorial citizens is also an interesting one. They are low in involvement, but when necessary, they can become more involved. You also have critical citizens. The more pessimistic citizens also sometimes, and they are not often participating, but then they can participate out of distrust or criticism. And subject citizens, they are low in participation on all levels. That's a way of defining citizenship norms. really interesting in research. And then here in this article, I was wondering how we could see that among teachers, because I think the school is really important as socialization agent. It's one of the agents in this very important political socialization graph. And I think the school is really important, not just because it's one of these agents, but also because the school is there for young people at the moment when they are searching their way in what kind of citizen do I want to be? Will I be the more engaged citizen? Will I be passive and less involved in politics? So at a very important timing, the school is there, and on next to that, you have also teachers who are trained to learn young people to do things. And then one of the most important reasons why I think the school is really important in the political socialization process is that there are so many differences when you look at family, peers, the youth organizations in which young people can be involved. Some will have more luck and be involved in plenty of ways, but you have always students that don't have opportunities in their close networks to be involved and to become engaged. So the school is one stable factor here where all students join, and then it would be a positive thing if we could rely on schools to provide opportunities for engagement for all students. So that's an important task for citizenship education in schools, but it's not just something I and other researchers invent. It's also prescribed by the Council of Europe in this definition, which is often cited. And here you see citizenship education is seen as a tool to promotion and protection even of democracy. And the way is also described here. So there is an expectation that teachers not just educate, but also put effort in awareness raising, activating and engaging young people. So this is what the Council of Europe prescribes, and I have my picture back. There's also something throughout my PhD that I thought that is really important, so that schools can engage in different ways, not only in the school, just teaching citizenship education, but you see an open door, open to society. It's maybe the connection to what I'm teaching now, the service learning course. I think it's important for students to experience the community around them and then learn about it in their schools. So there's lots in there in this picture. But an important question you then can raise is, can schools really stimulate students to become engaged? And here again, you have other research that's confirmed. You have different teaching styles and elements in citizenship education, where researchers examine, for instance, classroom discussions. How important are they? Can they influence citizenship in young people? Service learning, how important is this? Just regular teaching. So the more active teaching styles, all these things. Here you can see examples of students learning from each other, from their context, from other countries. You see fundraising from students. It's a Flemish good cause you see in the middle. More environmental citizenship education, more activating or just learning about politics and how to vote is also one of the pictures. But then you can ask, you can learn in plenty of different ways about citizenship and contribute to the future of citizens as a teacher. But what if there are then differences? If some teachers put more emphasis on traditional teaching styles and are more teacher-centered and less activating, as in most of these pictures, where the students pick up their role and learn about each other and the society. So that's also an important question. The teacher as an institutional gatekeeper, and here research pointing out that teachers, what they believe about citizenship education can be connected to the teaching styles they pick up. But then these researches are more often qualitative, small-scale researches, and that's where I thought this could be something interesting in my PhD to look at. And then I come back to the scale from citizenship beliefs. This scale we implemented in the ICCS survey, but only in the Flemish survey. But yet, still these are 2020 teachers who responded to this question. And then we could see whether, the first step, whether we could find this different kind of citizenship norms. And then in the next step, because the teacher data from ICCS has lots of information about teaching styles the teachers use also. What are those possible connection between these teaching styles and these citizenship beliefs? So this is only with Flemish data, but I think it's interesting enough to look at because we could find these citizenship norms. You can see here engaged and duty-based. Two important citizenship norms were also in the data of these Flemish teachers. The engaged, they're less involved in political discussions or joining a political party. And then the duty-based, you can see they are less involved in protecting environment, promoting human rights, but then more involved in the other ones. Then skeptical and subject citizenship norms are also visible. There are 3.52% subjects. Teachers we could see that are related to the subject citizenship norms, and then 6.5 skeptical. This is low, but still the questionnaire was given to social science teachers. So maybe still a little bit surprising. And then something interesting that's not in the general other surveys that you can find this kind, not always to find there, is all around. So you have also all around teacher that is high on all items related to good citizenship. So their beliefs on good citizenship, they pointed out like every item that was important for them. So it's nice to see that we could find different types of teachers. But then when we wanted to relate it to the teaching strategies, It was especially at the dutiful teachers that we could see that they are less prone to use the activating teacher styles and are more often choosing the traditional teaching styles, like just a course with a handbook. So this was in the data, but not the other way around, that the engaged teachers are significant different. I'm more using activating teaching styles. The all-around teacher here is again interesting because this is a teacher that also uses a lot of teaching styles and probably changes between more traditional and activating teaching styles. And it was also a little bit older teacher. So maybe this is related to the fact that this teacher is more experienced and learns to use different teaching styles and change between teaching styles, or it might also be related to training. So when you look at these data, I think lessons learned, I would say you can pick out here is there are different types of teachers in schools, and sometimes really big differences. When you look at promoting human rights, some of the teachers absolutely don't think it's necessary to do this in schools, and the others, you have teachers that are really positive about it and will include it or emphasize it. It's more about their own beliefs. So they believe this is an important aspect. When you then have teachers with different beliefs about citizenship, it doesn't need to be a problem in schools. That's in society the same. There are different beliefs among people, but I think it's important that teachers are aware of these differences and know that not every teacher has the same opinion about citizenship, so that their citizenship is perceived differently by themselves and probably other teachers. And then yeah, the risk you could also point out here is when you have in specific schools or in specific classrooms students that get in touch more frequently or only with duty-based teachers that teach in a more traditional way, then it might be more problematic. So it's important that in a school there is a good mix, I would say. And then I'm connecting, but it's not related in the research concepts, but I relate this to other findings from another article I wrote. And then I asked the question, what if duty-based teachers are clustered in specific schools, such as vocational schools? So in Flanders and in the Netherlands, we have schools with vocational training where students are already separated from the general track from the age of 12. So it's early tracking. And then you see that this impacts outcomes at student level. So maybe this might be related to the fact that you have different types of teachers in these vocational schools. I don't know this because yeah, the N on the vocational school level was too low to really be able to examine this in further detail. But in the other paper, you can see that in the vocational schools, civic learning opportunities are similar, But when we look at the opportunities for students to learn from open classroom discussions, so these are student level data. Open classroom discussions, the students report more opportunities for open classroom discussions when they're in a general track, and students in a vocational track, they report less opportunities, and the same for participation. There are really differences. So this might be differences related to the teacher and the group of teachers in vocational schools. So I think this is also something interesting for further research to examine how citizenship norms of teachers might influence inequality among students in how they learn about citizenship education. Voilà. Was my last slide. So thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dorien. I will stop the recording now to proceed with the questions.